This episode of the Red Bull Rant is brought to you by the fine patrons that support us through patreon.com/Red Bull Rant. You can support us for the low price of $1 a month, and you can get exclusive content, including a monthly wrap-up for the New York Red Bulls. We want to send a special shout-out to our patrons who support us at $5 a month. That is our producer-level reward. Thank you to Jeremiah Dempster, Clayton John, Chris Adamek, Maeve Dartinez, and Pierre Delecto. Now, on to the show. This is the Red Bull Rant podcast. If you aren't expecting adult language, why even bother listening? Welcome, my friends, to the Should Never Ends. This is the Red Bull Rant podcast. I'm your host, Jason Iapicco.
I'm Truman, in this episode 415, the perfect end to the imperfect season.
Calling this an imperfect season is a very
that's an understatement, really. Is what it is. It's an understatement.
I saw on the Red Bull subreddit, someone was basically like, this has just been such a mediocre overall, not just Red Bulls, but like the league as a whole. It's been such a mediocre season that anybody can beat anybody on any given day. And it's just weird because it's almost never like that in MLS. As much as they strive for parity, right, we never really truly get it.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, the LA who won the Supporter Shield, they started out kind of slow, didn't they, too? Didn't they kind of like a slow start to the season?
I think they were okay, but then they dropped off, right? Because I believe they were leading the race and Philly kind of like took over for a while, and then Philly just kind of collapsed for a few games and lost it.
Well,
right, because Philly lost like 2-3 nothing to Charlotte, and had a red card in that game like a few weeks ago. Right. So
well, that was the game that cost them the Shield. I think it was was it 4-0? Because the one dude scored 4 goals for Charlotte.
Let's find out.
Yeah. Almost positive that was the second to last game of the season.
Yep, they lost 4-0.
Yep.
And that was on October 1st. That was the next to last game of the year.
Yeah, and the one dude scored all 4 goals for Charlotte.
Make sure. Yep, Daniel Rio scored 4 goals.
Yeah.
Well, at least he didn't score 4 on us.
No.
That's kind of perfect segue. So Red Bulls finishing out their regular season at home against Charlotte with a 2-0 victory, securing a home playoff game for the first time, I think it was since 2018. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Before we get into our thoughts on the game, do you have the tweets ready to go?
Just one tweet from our good friend Eddie at Pierre Delecto, or actually his really tweets at All he said was they found the CLT, guys.
You know, I saw that, and I was going to have the Jay and Silent Bob clip ready, and I just forgot.
Oh.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I failed you as producer of the show to get the audio clips that would make this work. All right, so let's get into our likes and dislikes. You can go first. What did you dislike about this one?
I think you know what my biggest dislike is, and that is the fact that I couldn't watch most of this game because I have ESPN Plus, and I have it on my phone, and I have it on my Roku, and at the hotel I was in Princeton does not have MSG, and the Roku and the phone both blacked out the game for me.
Yeah, that stupid Geo lock.
Yep. So I got to watch a little bit of the game thanks to Pat and his MSG login. But I mean, that was stupid. Like stupid. The hotel doesn't have the channel. Just give me the goddamn game. I mean, I would have missed most of it, anyway, because I was at a wedding. But I mean, good grief, I could have watched the first 45 minutes, no problem. So, yeah, not happy about that.
Well, blackouts are one thing we won't have to worry about next year, at least.
Not a problem next year, correct.
Although I have other problems with that deal, and we'll see how they get resolved before next year starts.
Yeah.
My dislike, um, just because Tom Barlow not getting his to play in every single regular season match this year.
Wow.
I mean, there wasn't really anything truly bad. I mean, the defense wasn't great, but I mean, you let Tom Barlow play in 33 games. Why not in the last one just let him play?
Right.
It's not like they had to play midweek where you could argue he was saving them. It's like, no, we're just going to all of a sudden just like Kamala be the Tom Barlow.
And if we're saving Barlow for something off, we are in trouble.
Yeah. It was just kind of weird. And also kind of weird was Caden Clark not even being on the bench.
Yeah, don't know what's up with that.
How much has his stock fallen? I mean,
yeah.
I know he's been playing some minutes with Red Bulls too, but Jesus, I mean, to not even make the bench on the regular season finale is like fun.
Yeah, it's been wild ever since. What was it? Appendicitis? What the hell did he have that took him out?
It was appendicitis last year.
Yeah, that was like the beginning of the end right there.
And the weird thing was he got sold to Leipzig after that.
Yep.
Like Leipzig looked at what happened after the appendicitis. Was like, yeah, we still want that. And then the coach just froze him out at Leipzig, so he came back to here. And then he just hasn't done well.
Yep.
It's almost like, selling players on too early has a bad effect on them.
Weird. Go figure.
I know, right? All right. Likes for this one. I'm assuming we're both going to have the same like, but
I mean, if you do one, I'll do the other because there's two big ones I think in this game. But go ahead, you first.
I think the bigger one is the fact that we had a forward not only score once but twice in a game, and it's sad that those two goals are increased our total forward goal output by more than 20%.
Wow.
And that's just quick off the top of my head math. I mean, we had, I think it was 9 goals from forwards before this game, and now we were at 11. So yeah, a little over 20% increase in goal production from our forwards based on one game at the end of the regular season. That's insane.
Both goals were fantastic, by the way.
They were.
I mean, that the first one with that, I mean, acute angle is the only way to describe that off the rebound. And then that second one, I love that kind of goal that just like I don't even know how to describe it. That launchy kick that just sails right in the net. Love it. It's a very Brazilian shot, I feel.
It had the nice it started outside, came back in, and then bent down at just the right moment. It was just perfect. I was playing mini golf on Tuesday. And at the end of the course, so most of the courses had sink this hole in one shot and you get the free game.
Mm-hmm.
I actually hit that, and it kind of reminded me because it's one of those you got to go up the ramp and do it, and it was like right as I got off the ramp, the ball started going down. It reminded me of that goal. Just perfect dip. That's all.
All right, so my it's the other reason they won that game, and that was Carlos Coronel making at least 3 awesome saves in that game, like 3 fantastic saves, and that gave him the win right there. So I mean, any one of those goes in, makes a completely different game, and I don't know, he played his ass off. He played like one of the best goalies of the year, which he is. He's top 2 or 3 goalies in MLS this year.
Except he did. I'm pretty sure no Red Bull is an end of year award finalist, which is insane. How Cornell is not a goalkeeper of the year candidate.
No, whatever. Bradley Wright Phillips, scores most goals in a season, and he doesn't get a fucking MVP. So what do you expect?
And Aaron Long is not a comeback player of the year finalist.
No.
Only come off an Achilles injury and.
Whatever. Those seasons mean fucking nothing. Yeah. Those words, they don't mean shit.
All right. Afterthoughts. I'm just glad we won. They finally took care of the business they had here to get a home game. We'll get more into what we expect out of that in a minute, but just, I mean,
the dreaded home game.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know how you feel, but to me, it was sort of like anticlimactic after the first goal because it just Charlotte never really had a shot because of how Cornell was that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad it was kind of anticlimactic because I didn't need, I had the Jets game on one TV and it was really close into the fourth quarter, and on the other screen I had the Red Bulls thankfully just taking care of business. I didn't need to worry about two different teams and at the same time, so it was kind of good to just have that like confidence that you knew it was just going to end up in a win.
Yeah,
because we haven't felt that a lot this year. You have any other thoughts on this game?
No, it was good. It was the perfect game. It's the shutout. Your forward scores both goals, and we'll see if it's a fucking confidence booster to go into the playoffs because they have to play at home. So we don't know what the hell's going to happen.
Yeah. All right. So prediction standings. So we got to talk about this because
people they don't know.
No, they don't know because I didn't only put this information out to you guys. I forgot to put it out to general public. So after the recording last week, I was editing the show, and I was writing down the predictions, and I have a spreadsheet up on Google Drive that I used to track the points, and I had missed putting scores in for some of these games, so I was filling it in. Come to find out that our agenda point totals were incorrect. We thought we were keeping track of it correctly in the agenda. We weren't. Going into the game, the actual standings at that point going into the game on Sunday, Truman was in first with 19 points. I was in second with 18, and Pat was in third with 10. Clearly, Pat wasn't going to win. But that required me to have the only way I would have won the belt would have been to get exactly 3 points because Truman owned the tiebreaker if I were to tie on points. When I informed everybody or Truman and Pat of what was going on, Truman changed his prediction. We agreed that he could do that as long as he didn't pick the same exact as me.
Because that'd be a dick move, and I wouldn't do a dick move.
Well, if you decide
dick move.
Well, the caveat was if you decided to pick 2-1, I would pick something else. So even if you wanted to, I would have had the option to change, and I had the option either way. But I stuck with my prediction. I wish I didn't, because since we both predicted wins, we each got a point. Truman is therefore the champion of this year.
Yeah, I'm never giving it back ever. Belt staying here for the rest of my life.
If either I had changed it to 2-0 or Cornell just let one of those in at the end, that belt would be mine because I would have been at 21 points. But
yeah.
So Truman is officially the champion. He has 20 points at the end of the year. I have 19. Pat has 10.
Only because Pat kiboshed himself for a gigantic chunk of this season.
But he sacrificed himself for the good of the team, for the good of the
family. He tried.
I mean, to a degree, it worked. We got a home playoff game out of it.
Yep. I believe he said on the last episode if we lost like 6-0, we would have given him the belt just because. So that did not happen, thankfully.
Yeah. So now I need to update the stats. But hold on, I'm going to do this real quick. Because I have an overall stats spreadsheet. I don't know why I'm this geeky about it, but I am. So Truman, you have won the belt 8 out of 11 times.
God damn, we've done this 11 times?
I know. It doesn't feel like it's been 11 seasons.
No, because how long have I had this belt since?
So officially you've had it since 2020.
Correct. That's when I was handed the belt, right?
So you won the 2020 season. That's when you got the belt.
Handed the belt in 2021 at your wedding, correct?
Yes. Yeah, because that's the first time we got to see each other.
Yes.
but you've officially held the belt for this is now 3 years.
Wow.
I held it in 2019. You held it in. Actually, no, I'm just going to go from the beginning.
Yep.
12 to 14, you owned the belt. Pat had his one victory in 2015. Then I had it in 16. You had it in 17, 18. I had it in 19, and you've now had it since 2020.
Wow. Where am I taking this belt? Where do you want to see it go? I got to take it. I haven't taken it on enough adventures, I feel.
To an MLS Cup match.
Oh, yeah. Will they let me let it in? Will they let me bring the belt into the building? Unfortunately, the Revs are. I mean, not really unfortunately, but the Revs are not in the playoffs, so I couldn't even go to a Revs playoff game.
Well, that's a shame.
And a real shame they're not in. I'm really bummed out. I'm really bummed that the two teams that are playing at Gillette kind of suck. It's a real shame. I cry about it all the time.
Yeah. So here's how placements have broken down over the years. So first place, I have two wins. Pat has 1. You have 8. 4 times I've been in second. Pat has been in second 6 times. You've been in second twice. I lead the third place category with 5. Pat with 4. You with 1.
Yeah.
And then I got to update this for the rest of this year. Apparently, I put 2 games in at this point, so I don't know what the rest of it is. But basically, before the season started, we're all averaging actually not bad points per game if you want to think about it. So out of 331 games I have in the spreadsheet right now, Truman, you and I are tied. Or sorry, you have 1 more than me in terms of picking the win-loss draws correctly throughout the years. You've picked that right 143 times. I picked the right 142. The difference is you've gotten the exact scoreline correct 29 times.
Nice. Holy shit.
I've got the exact scoreline 18. Pat, I think, and now these do not account for most of this year, so that will change. But Pat, I think, really sacrificed over the last few years.
Yes.
Because he is at 128 in terms of the win-loss draw and 19 for correct score lines. Basically, between the 3 of us, we average picking at least the correct win-loss draw result 1 out of every 2 games over the 12 years we've done this.
50%.
Yeah. You're slightly better. You're at 61%. I'm at 0.61 points per game. I'm at 0.54. Pat's at exactly 0.5. Like I said, those numbers are going to change because I only have 2 games for this year counted in this spreadsheet. But
right. So
I got to mark this one yellow. All right. I just thought that was interesting to go into those overall stats.
I like it. Everyone just tweet me and tell me where I should bring that belt. I'll see if I can bring it places. I don't want to bring it to wrestling shows. That's just nerdy.
If you bring it to a show and get them to use it as a weapon.
Yeah, that's something.
Get some scuffs in there. Let's see. Well, Oyster Fest next year, if you go.
Oh, the Seafood Festival.
Or Seafood Fest, yeah.
Yeah, I could bring it. I could bring it to the Seafood Festival. I should have brought it this year, honestly, because I was actually watching the game, as you know, at the Seafood Festival. So,
got any weddings coming up?
No, ran out. I think I'm out. I think I'm out at weddings.
You ran out. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bar mitzvahs, communions, graduations.
I missed all the births. So there's no births. Ran out of those. I'm not bringing it to the hospital, so.
I mean, you could just show up to the maternity ward one day and be like, "Hey, I'm here to celebrate. Yeah, I'm the champ. I'm here to celebrate all the births today."
It's like the shittiest Make-A-Wish for kids ever. Sorry, no, John Cena's not here. That's all I got. It's just me with a belt. I'm not gonna explain what the belt's for, but here it is, kid. You can look at it.
All right. You know what? Let's do that. So let's listeners, I want you to send in what you think Truman should do to show up with the belt. I want ideas for him. I would say World Cup watch party if you go to one.
Oh yeah.
That's a good one to bring it to. But yeah, so if you guys have ideas on where Truman should take the belt, let's do this. I want to make this a thing that wherever you take the belt, you start taking pictures and posting it to our Twitter page.
Yeah, I can do that. Maybe I'll bring it to work. I'll start bringing it to work again. I have brought it to work and worn it at work, which is really hilarious. And I just keep telling everyone that I'm the champ. And when they ask what for, I don't explain that to them. They don't need to know.
You can read the fucking belt. That's what you can do.
Yeah, just say, hey, I'm the fucking champ. That's all you need to know.
But yeah, give us your ideas on where the belt should go, and try to make it generic. Don't like pick out specific locations that's hard for Truman to get to. Okay, let's just make sure that that's in there. All right, so the Red Bulls now officially begin their quest for an MLS Cup. They made the playoffs, which I think is the bare minimum we all said needed to happen this year. I think the bare minimum we all said was win a playoff game. But they made the playoffs. They have a first-round game at home this Saturday, October 15th at 12 p.m. because MLS doesn't know what the fuck they're doing in terms of scheduling. I'm sure there's a reason because of college football or something like that, but it's just weird. They will be hosting FC Cincinnati. The game is going to be broadcast on both Unimos for Spanish. I think they should have the SAP function for English as well on that feed. But if you can't for some reason get the English call on Unimos, they will also be broadcasting it on MLSsoccer.com. So you have ways to watch.
Dumbest fucking nonsense ever.
Well, both the Saturday games are on Unimos. So.
God.
Yeah. All right. Cincinnati comes into this game with a record of 12, 13, and 9, good for 49 points. They have a +9 goal difference, and they are number 5 in the Eastern Conference. It's important to note that the winner of this game, regardless of who wins, will play Philly. My understanding is they're not reseeding every round this year.
Oh, so stupid.
So if we want that cup, we got to go through Philly.
No, I mean, you're going to probably have to go through them anyway at some point, but just dumb.
But now we got to go through them sooner. All right. So we don't do predictions. If you're new, we don't do predictions for the playoffs. We just don't do that bad juju. But Truman, what do you think, or what are you thinking about going into this weekend's game?
Well, I mean, I was just looking it up, and according to what I saw, the Red Bulls have not won back-to-back home games since like June. So that's not
wonderful.
Great. That's not great. But I think this is probably the team that you'd most like to play because they're pretty even with them. I think they kind of play the same game. It's going to be Cincy's first trip to the playoffs, so I'm going to just say the Red Bulls have that advantage that they've been here time and time, et cetera, again before. So,
been tied for the longest streak now in MLS history.
Yeah, 13. Yeah. So I mean, you still have a great keeper. I think you still have a good defense, and it's just going to all come down to scoring, as we know. That's all it's going to come down to, and it's going to be who presses more and who takes advantage of the press. And let's hope Manuel's a real goal scorer, because we've seen what we're getting from the other forwards, and it's fucking nothing. So you just got to hope that this was his coming out party was his past game, and he's going to be in the starting lineup, and they're going to win. I mean, I think this is their best chance to win a playoff game, is this game. And like you said, if they win, they go on to Philly, where they could just hope to get revenge against the Union for last year. Fucking horrific loss. And that's a massive task, because Philly's still really good. But you got to get this game out of the way. And like I said, I think this is the best team to play right now in the playoffs, and your best chance to win a playoff game.
And you know what's great is if we win, we got to play Thursday in Philly. I just filled the schedule. That game's Thursday. I guess that's what MLS does, or if that's their thing for the number one seeds, is they'll get the short rest.
Right. Well, it could be worse. It could be like a Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? At least you play Saturday and play Thursday. It's not something completely insane.
I know, but it's still
We've seen crazier playoff schedules before.
True, especially when it used to be 2 games per series per round.
Yeah. So could be worse.
So I think this is a winnable game for the Red Bulls. Like you said, this is Cincy's first time to the playoffs. Yeah, they'll have some players that have been there before, but the core of this Red Bulls team was there last year. There's no reason, especially at home, that you shouldn't take care of business. I'm really hoping the back-to-back wins happen again. That'd be nice. Just be glad we're not playing New York City FC in Connecticut, or Chase or Citi Field.
What's going to suck is I think the crowd's going to suck for this game, unfortunately, because 12 o'clock is just the worst time for a playoff game.
I know.
You know.
And of course, the narrative around that's going to be Red Bulls can't draw anybody, when it's like, well, you didn't give us, of all the playoff times you could have gave us, you gave us probably the shittiest time.
Yeah, 12 o'clock.
Yeah. on a Saturday. Like, well, 12 o'clock on a Saturday, forget like college football. Like, most families aren't going to go to a 12 o'clock game because they're going to like the rec soccer leagues in the morning.
Right. They got their kids games at 12 o'clock.
Yeah. Like, you want families to go, it's got to be like at least 5 or 6 for it to make sense.
Right.
So it may suck attendance wise. Hopefully there's a good turnout for the supporters groups at least. But this is definitely a winnable game. And I think that if you do not win a playoff game this year as the Red Bulls, then you failed this year. I think all of us have predicted that we at least get to the playoffs. But for me, you must show progress. Right? It's the same thing I'm feeling for the Jets. The New York Jets do not need to make the playoffs for me this year. But they need to be competitive and still be in it within like a month to go. Like, somewhat realistic shot at making the playoffs. The Red Bulls, this is the 13th straight year we've been to the playoffs. We've, in theory, been using the same system since, 2015 is when Marsh took over?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So this is year number 8, I think. You've been to the Eastern Conference Finals under this system. You were in the Eastern Conference Finals the year before when Pecky was still here. At some point, there has to be a payoff. And the last few years, we've not been that great at all. We need to at least win a game, if not 2 or 3 or 4. We have to at least win one, especially when it's at home. So hopefully we do it. If they win, I may consider going to Philadelphia on a Thursday night.
Oof.
Hey, I'm relatively close enough. I can do it.
I won't see you there if they make it there.
Of course, I will see you there.
I will not be in attendance.
I'll be missing the belt though. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Basically, this is a winnable game, and to me, it's a must-win game, because if you can't win this, then what have we been doing over the last few years?
Right.
All right. Anything else about this game before we move on?
Nope. I did ask Pat if he has any thoughts, so maybe he'll get back to us before we finish the show.
Yeah. All right. New York Red Bulls 2. Oh boy. Just continuing to lose.
Did they get red carded?
Let me double check. I am not sure. I didn't write that down.
That'd be the only thing. I wouldn't care about the score.
That's the wrong game. They did not get red carded in the last game.
Damn.
Yeah. They did lose 2-1 at Memphis 901. That puts them at 3-6-24. 15 points, minus 51 goal difference. Dead last in the East, dead last in USL Championship, and they're going to stay there because they're not even within like 3 wins of anybody. Their last match of the year is this Saturday at the Tampa Bay Rowdies, 7:30 p.m. I kind of feel sorry for anybody who's been kind of following Red Bulls too, especially if they're still watching. And if we were to lose this playoff game, and then they watch that game, and then probably going to lose that game.
Oh, God.
I mean, I don't know if I want to strict myself to that, so. All right. So Gotham FC's done. As far as I know, there's nothing to discuss there. Did you guys discuss the report that came out last week?
No.
The Sally H report?
No, I think we were going to hold off on that.
All right. Maybe we hold off until all three of us are on then.
Yeah. I think that was the plan.
All right. We'll hold off on it then. All right. So that brings us right now to the dumping ground.
I'm the trash man.
All right. So do you have anything you would like to discuss on dumping ground?
Well, I will tell you that unfortunately my boys in Swindon Supermarine did lose to Truro City 4-0 yesterday. So that was a little bit of a heartbreaker. They're not having a very good run right now, but I think they can get back at it against Tiverton on Saturday, 10 a.m. So you can watch that game before watching the Red Bulls game. So I think they got a good chance there. So that is my Southern Premier Division report on Swindon Supermarine.
Let's see, because I forgot to look it up. So Go Sport Borough FC. I'm going to go back. I don't know if you guys talked about the results.
We did. We discussed our results, sir. We did our job.
But for me, because I wasn't here.
I don't know.
Okay. So I'm just going to go back to the game that I would have talked about. So October 1st, they took care of business at home against North Lake, 2-0 win for Go Sport Borough. Unfortunately, they followed it up with a road loss to Hayes and Yeading United, 2-3. Then in the FA Cup, or FA Trophy, what the hell? Is there a difference?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Yes, there is, sir.
Trophy. So what's the FA
I will
Trophy?
explain it as soon as you're done.
Okay. So unfortunately, they lost that match to Bristol Manor Farm 0-2. And then their last league match, they lost on the road again, this time to the Metropolitan Police, 2-1. It looks like they're a much better home team than they are a road team. So now, what is the FA Trophy? I'm sure you guys talked about that.
FA Trophy is different than the FA Cup, and if you've been watching Welcome to Wrexham, you would have learned about this. It is a tournament for the lower division teams to participate in. It's pretty much just like the FA Cup in style. You do play the finals, I think the semis and the finals at Wembley, or just the final at Wembley. Maybe it's just the finals played at Wembley. But it's basically an FA Cup, but it's just for the lower division teams.
You mean like the EFL Cup was supposed to be for the Premier League? They said, fuck this, we want it in on it?
Pretty much. So there you go.
Did not realize that was the thing.
Mm-hmm. And you should be watching Welcome to Wrexham, because it is very interesting and intriguing.
A fun watch. I've watched the first 2 episodes. I have not had a chance to watch the rest. So I got to go back and watch it.
Well, I think it's up to, I think they finished at 18 episodes.
Is it 18? Was it 18? Okay, so I got a lot to catch up on then.
Yes.
All right. Anything else for you? I got something I want to talk about, but I just want to make sure.
Nope.
Okay. So we mentioned earlier about the blackouts and all that stuff, and as everybody knows by now, all the matches next year are going to be broadcast on Apple TV+. We don't know the details of how that stuff's going to work yet, what the subscription is going to be, because They said the season ticket holders are going to get a free subscription to the service. But in a interview that came out this week, the chief of Apple Services, Eddie Q, had called the deal with MLS, quote, a huge opportunity for the tech giant. So to me, that means that Apple is going to throw the weight behind this.
I would hope so.
The problem is MLS is the one actually producing the matches.
Mm-hmm.
So all the video feeds and stuff are going to be on MLS. I assume it's really just bandwidth and stuff that Apple's going to put on this, but the fact that they're viewing this as something that's important is a good sign for me. Hopefully they'll fix the at least the biggest issue I see going forward, which is going to be app compatibility with Android devices.
Well, you just basically go to the Apple TV website and log in, and that's how you're going to watch it. I actually did that with a baseball game not too long ago. So there's no app. I mean, like on my phone, I have a Galaxy. There's no app, but you can log into the website, go to the game, full screen it, watch it full screen.
No, I know you can do that, but the reason I bring up the app, and funny enough, this is actually a Reddit conversation I had this week. The reason an app to me is more important is because, like, for example, YouTube, Netflix, they have on Android, they have the ability to, when you go away from them in terms of focus, they'll still show up as a mini player on the screen. So if I need to do something else real quick, I won't stop watching. I'll be able to just go back, right? And it's a very quick thing. If it's a web browser, I go away, I lose it, I come back, it's going to refresh the web page, and now it might just be, hopefully the cookies didn't expire for the login and all this other shit that could possibly happen for me to take extra time to get back into a game. It's just, I know there's no obligation for Apple to provide that app to Android. It technically exists. I think there's actually multiple versions of it on the Google App Store, but it would be nice to have it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think going to the web browser is archaic, but I mean, at least it's functional.
Yeah.
No, we'll see, and then we'll see what announcers they get, because I'm very curious about that too.
Yeah.
Very curious.
So the thing that I'm actually curious about is, depending on how this goes, how many other leagues can go to this model. I think the NFL is going there at some point. I think next year, or not completely, because CBS and Fox and ABC, those deals have way too much money involved. But I'm hoping this NFL Plus then next year that bypasses the blackouts and lets me watch live, because I hate not being able to watch the Jets live when there's no football on TV in Baltimore.
Yep.
It kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I think geographically I'm located closer to New York than Pittsburgh, but we always get Pittsburgh. And I get it. It's a Baltimore, Pittsburgh, it's the same division, but come on. Like, I hate the secondary market bullshit, so the way I've been feeling for years about this stuff, I'm willing to pay money to watch these things. Just give me the ability to pay you to let me watch these things.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Like, I'm willing to hand you money. Right?
Yeah, just give me what I want.
You're basically turning away my money because you won't give it to me in a way that makes sense for me.
Yeah,
it's just weird. All right. Pat's not here, so we're going to skip the betting corner. So that takes us to our last segment, Truman's Terrible Team of the Week.
That's terrible.
So I'm going to give you two runners up first, and then I'm going to give you the big winner/loser of the terrible team of the week. So runner-up number one is DC United losing at home 5-2 to Cincinnati. Now, obviously, Cincinnati wanted to kind of clinch a playoff spot and everything, but still, they lost at home. They are the wooden spoon winners. So there you go. made that very, very official, getting slashed at home. Runner-up number 2 happened yesterday, and that was Rangers losing at home to Liverpool 7-1 after having a 1-goal lead early on. Not only did they lose 7-1, but I'm just going to read you off that Mohamed Salah, he subbed in the 68th minute. He then scored in the 76th, the 80th, and the 81st. So he had 3 goals in 5 minutes in that game.
Wow.
So, yeah, they put an absolute whooping on him right there. But the real terrible team of the week is, I'm sure half of the listeners know, there's only one team that's going to make this spot, and that's the goddamn New York Mets. You fucking idiots. Choke City, completely embarrassing. 3 games at home. You got 1 hit in the series decider. You were an embarrassment. 101 win season, and you couldn't even get to the second round at home. You suck. You suck. That whole season just thrown away. I'm sorry. I'm pissed. I'm still pissed. I can't believe I have to wait till fucking next year to watch this team again. And who even knows going to be on that team next year? I don't even fucking know. DeGrom, who knows? I don't know if he's coming back. Nemo, don't know. Diaz, I hope so. But as you can tell, I'm a little pissed off that I finally got a great season with this team, and they fucking choked, losing to the Cubs in 3 games. They could have won the division easily. Couldn't win in Atlanta. Couldn't win 1 game in Atlanta, and fucking losing to the San Diego goddamn Padres in the playoffs. No excuses. So very upset. The only thing that really made up for it was the Giants win against the Packers and the Jets putting 40 points up on the Dolphins.
And 21 of those points happening in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean that was fun. I don't know what was more fun. Now, the thing with the Jets game was they beat the 3rd string quarterback, right? But no excuses. Hey,
not on defense.
No excuses, right? Yeah, exactly right. They played their asses of 1, which I absolutely love. I love seeing the Jets competitive. It's all you can ask for in this team, like you talked about it before, right? You just want them to compete. Maybe smell a playoff spot this year. I'll show progress.
I mean, this is the first time since 2015 that we're 3-2.
Yeah.
That we're positive 300 or positive over 500 5 games into a year. So.
But hey, not only are the Giants 4-1, which is awesome, they beat the Packers and they were down like 17-3. And it wasn't in Green Bay, it was in London. But the best part was that I think they had 3rd and 2 and then 4th and 2 in the red zone to tie the game up, and they threw 2 deflected passes and they lost. I fucking love it. I love beating Aaron Rodgers. I love making that man miserable. It's great. Now, unfortunately for you, Jay, they are now home to play the Jets. So that might be a bit of a pickle.
But I'm hoping the Jets have used this as locker or bulletin board material. The Packers players, after the Giants loss, said, if we lose next week, then we're in trouble. That means they don't respect the Jets.
Yeah.
So
now we haven't respected the Jets in a long time, but as a player, you should never say that.
Yeah. I mean, come on. As a Jets fan, I've earned the right to not respect it.
That's right. You goddamn right you have. Goddamn right.
But I'm really hoping that Zach Wilson goes in there and puts up his. Granted, it's a very, very short career so far, but puts up career numbers for himself and just shuts everybody out. I want the Wilson to Wilson connection to go off for 150 yards and 3 TDs.
Me too. It's my fantasy wide receiver. I would love it.
Sauce Gardner, let's get another 2 picks or something, and then I don't know. It seems the way the Jets win is to knock quarterbacks out of the game. So
yeah.
You know what?
What do they got to do?
If Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, what am I? I'm not gonna complain.
No problem there.
It would just be nice. I mean, I gotta admit, this year, and this is tempered. I have hope. I'm not, like I said, I'm not expecting a playoff game. If I get a playoff game, that is absolute gravy on the season.
Yeah.
All I really want to see is that we are at let's say a one game over 500. That would be a successful season for me.
It'd be amazing.
It would, considering the last few years, having to go to the fucking Adam Gase years and I don't know who's going to be the better quarterback and all this stuff, but almost tanking your way to the number one pick and then at the last minute just veering off to the side.
Yeah.
After all of this, to have such a what seems like a very decent core of young guys. I mean, Elijah Vera Tucker has played, I think, 4 positions on the offensive line in 5 games.
Oof.
And has been one of the best offensive linemen in the league. I think I want to say he played right tackle last game. It was the first time ever playing right tackle. He took 4 or 5 snaps in practice. He's like, I'm good. And just went out and fucking dominated. That's amazing for an offensive lineman to just switch positions, especially as a rookie, to switch positions on a weekly basis, take a few snaps during practice and basically go out and dominate a game. That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, Sauce Gardner's come in and I think he's only committed 1 pass interference penalty in 5 games.
Yep. And it was a shady one at best.
Yeah, because the ball wasn't even close. I don't even think he really interfered with anything.
Yeah.
But that's for a rookie cornerback. That's huge. Breece Hall going off for almost 200 yards from scrimmage. I think the Jets have won Rookie of the Week for 3 or 4 weeks now.
Also, I think you just called him Priest Holmes. I fucking wish it was Priest Holmes.
I screwed his first name, but I meant to say Bryce Hall.
Okay. But I could have sworn you said Priest Holmes, but I mean, who doesn't love Priest Holmes? What a Kansas City legend he was. I mean, he's not dead. He's still alive. He's just not playing in the NFL anymore.
But yes, that's where I'm at. With the Jets. I've started watching the One Jets Drive show they do on YouTube now because I have some modicum of hope that we're going to become a stable organization. You know who's not a semi-stable organization? That was New York City FC because they're playing a home playoff match in Citi Field.
Woo!
Had to get that in there.
Well, it's not being used by the goddamn New York Mets, so.
I love how in the span of a week, they went from, we're going to host at Red Bull Arena unless we play the Red Bulls, to we're going to play the Red Bulls in Connecticut, to, oh no, we're going to play at Citi Field. 3 different stadiums in a week that got mentioned.
Yeah.
Someone said they should call themselves New York City Wanderers, and that's the better name than New York City Football Club.
Just MLS Wanderers.
For sure. So someone suggested Bank of California Stadium because the LAFC wasn't using it this week. I mean, they played I think a CCL game out there, so why not?
Yeah, screw it.
All right. Anything else?
No, I got nothing.
Okay. And I don't think we heard back from Pat either, right?
Nope.
All right. Let's wrap this one up. You can visit us at patreon.com/Red Bull Rant. $1 a month is all you need for exclusive content such as monthly wrap-ups, live post games, anything we decide to do. You can email us, redbullrant@gmail.com. If you want to call us, 973-348-5329. Facebook.com/Red Bull Rant. On Twitter, at Red Bull Rant. For the show, at Dr. Stooge, myself, at the Truman, for Truman. Subscribe to the show via iTunes, Stitcher Radio, YouTube Music, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast. Last words before we get out of here.
One shout out to our boy Rich Ransom, who I ran into in Atlantic City over the weekend at GCW. Always awesome seeing him. I always run into him at wrestling shows in South Jersey, so it was very cool to see him. But listen, what do you got to say? I mean, right? What do we got to say? This is your best shot to fucking get a result, move on to the playoffs. You're fucking home. I'm hoping there's gonna be a lot of fans there. I don't see it happening, but at least the supporters are gonna be loud and fucking out of their minds. And I'll be somehow watching this game by hook or by crook because it's at 12 o'clock, the absolute worst possible time on Saturday for me to watch a game. But listen, fucking, I don't want to do the show next week pissed off. I'll do that in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I'll be pissed off. All right. But give me something good to talk about next week. And what I want is a good old fashioned fucking haven't seen it forever playoff win.
My wife's not gonna be around this weekend or for the game. I'm grilling up some barbecue or buffalo wings. Let's do this for Truman and myself. This is episode 415 of Red Bull Rant. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, go Red Bulls.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.